Donald Trump just wrapped up a disastrous press conference after losing big before the United States Supreme Court. As you know, the U.S. Supreme Court, in a 6-3 ruling, struck down Donald Trump's tariffs against the world. So Donald Trump held a press conference where he accused the United States Supreme Court of being under foreign influence. He said they were infiltrated by a foreign influence operation. He then calls the United States Supreme Court a bunch of rhinos. He says he doesn't even want them to show up at the State of the Union. And he then started talking about men trying to kiss him and that he wanted to be a good boy. He said, I want to be a very good boy. Let me show you what went down. Donald Trump, during the press conference, is asked by a reporter, you've been saying multiple times the Supreme Court is under foreign influence operations. Care to describe what that means? Here's what Donald Trump says. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, you mentioned multiple times foreign influence over the Supreme Court. Do you have evidence of that? And if not, will you investigate that?
You're going to find out.
What alternatives are you going to put in?
Then Donald Trump says that the Supreme Court is a disgrace to our nation. Here, let's play this clip right here.
They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long. That I can assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no matter how good a case you have. It's a no.
Donald Trump is then asked why he just doesn't go to Congress to get a law passed regarding tariffs, because that's what you're supposed to do. He then attacks Hakeem Jeffries and says he's low IQ. And then Donald Trump says, I don't have to go to Congress about anything, even though the Supreme Court literally said, when it comes to tariffs, you absolutely do have to go to Congress. Here, play this clip.
Several of Republicans in Congress have supported this decision by the Supreme Court. And Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has called you a wannabe king.
Why wouldn't him a low IQ?
But why wouldn't
he doesn't even know? And I watched him the other day interview. The guy doesn't even know what a tariff is.
But there's been bipartisan criticism.
No, not bipartisan.
Of the tariff.
Excuse me.
There's several Republicans have said that.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you just work with Congress to come up with a plan?
I don't have to
push tariffs.
I have the right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs, and it's all been approved by Congress. So there's no reason to do it. All we're doing is we're going through a little bit more complicated process. Not complicated very much, but a little more complicated than what we had. We'll be able to take in tariffs, more tariffs. And the Congress people and the Congress,
the Canadian tariffs last week. There's been votes in the Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost 2 Republicans or 3 Republicans because they're not good Republicans.
Then Donald Trump says now that his tariffs against the world have been struck down, he's going to implement other alternatives, he said, which will be a lot stronger. And then he goes on to say later in this press conference, that means the tariffs are going to be even higher now. So after the Supreme Court struck it down, you're saying that the tariffs are going to be higher? What are you talking about? Here, play this clip.
Remain. We're still getting them, and we will after the decision. Guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly rejected. We have alternatives, great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so.
Then he talks about being kissed by men. He said lots of men want to kiss him, and he said, no, thank you. Stop kissing me. Here, play this clip.
Around the clock, almost 7 days a week. He said, sir, I want to kiss you so badly. And I said, no, thank you. But you know what? But
he does want to be a good boy, he says. I want to be a good boy. Here, play this clip.
Court, I understand how they're very easily swayed. I want to be a good boy. I have very effectively utilized tariffs over the past year.
Then he goes on to talk about how he lost 2 Republicans in the Senate And because a reporter says, like, you do realize that the Senate is also voting against you on your tariffs. And he's like, well, I lost them. 2 senators are lost. What is this deranged human being saying? Here, play this clip.
To take in tariffs, more tariffs. And the Congress people and the Congress.
The Canadian tariffs last week.
Yeah,
There's been votes in the Senate against it.
Yeah, because we lost 2 Republicans or 3 Republicans because they're not good Republicans. What you don't say, you don't say that we got 215 votes.
You need 218 for something to pass.
Yeah, sure we do. We might have lost 3 votes, and what was the score on the Republican side? 215 to 3, right? But you don't say that. We have great unity. There's great unity in the Republican Party, and I hope everyone's going to vote Republican, because otherwise you won't have a country left, because these people have been destroying. They are destroying our country. Please.
Mr. President.
But he wants you all to know that he read the paragraphs. I read very well. Great comprehension. Great reader, he says. Play this clip.
That what we did was, number one, according to, I read the paragraphs. I read very well. Great comprehension. I read everything there is to read, and I said, we can't lose this case. But we can when judges are political, when they want to be politically correct, when they're catering to a group of people in D.C. maybe. I don't know what it is, because when you read it, there's no other interpretation. There is no other interpretation. But it's okay, because what has come out, and I'll say it for the 3rd time and maybe the last time in a while, is that we've taken the uncertainty of tariffs out, because we had uncertainty. We got sued by sleazebags, I know them well, that are very outside country, China-centric, but outside country-centric. And they're going to end up not doing as well as they did before. America was.
Then the reporter says, so now that you lost in the Supreme Court and they said you don't have the ability to impose these tariffs, are you going to impose higher tariffs? He goes, yes. Now I will do higher tariffs. Here, play this clip.
I didn't call you.
You didn't call me?
Yeah, Mr. President, to be clear, do you believe at the end of implementing these new tariff tools, the tariff rate and tariffs will ultimately be higher than they currently are?
Potentially higher.
How much higher?
It depends, whatever we want them to be. But we want them to be fair for other countries. And, we have some countries that have treated us really badly for years, and it's going to be high for them. And we have other countries that have been very good, and it's going to be very reasonable for them. Yeah.
Then he says, I really don't care if the Supreme Court justices even show up to the State of the Union. Was he about to cry? Here, play this clip.
And they'll be replaced with the other tariffs.
Mr. President, on the Supreme Court justices who ruled against this the policy, striking it down, are they still invited to your State of the Union next week? And will you speak with them?
They are invited, barely. Barely. 3 are happily invited. No, they're barely invited. Honestly, I couldn't care less if they come. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Then he refuses to take a question about the tariff rebate checks that he promised. Remember, he promised Americans $2,000 tariff rebate checks everybody's getting, which, first off, the tariffs have only raised about $175 billion to $200 billion, which you're going to give $2,000 tariff rebate checks to all Americans. Maybe you want to do the math there, big guy. Maybe you want to do a little bit of math there. But anyway, he refuses to answer the question. Play this clip.
Yeah.
Specifically on the tariffs question, on the $2,000.
I didn't call you.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. Do you have any plans to travel to India for the Quad Summit, and how do you think you?
He refuses to take questions from CNN. Let's play this clip right here.
No, you please. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking. I don't talk to CNN. It's fake news. Go ahead.
Mr. President.
And then he goes on to say the Supreme Court justices who ruled against him were embarrassments to their entire family. Here, let's play this clip.
At the same place. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, Justices Gorsuch and Barrett, are you surprised in particular by their decision today? And do you regret nominating them?
I don't want to say whether or not I regret. I think their decision was terrible. Yeah. I think it's an embarrassment to their families. You want to know the truth. The 2 of them. Yeah.
But the Dow is over 50,000. So Donald Trump says the Dow is over 50,000. Then I want you to watch as C-SPAN shows the Dow which was not over 50,000 at the time he made this statement. Here, play this clip.
Tariffs over the past year to make America great again. Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously, and even more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P, two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said, you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year.
But Donald Trump wants everybody to know, I don't think the Supreme Court really meant what they did. He goes, I don't think they meant it. Here, play this clip.
But very, very bad for us. And I stopped it, and we'll just keep it going. So we have a totally firm decision now. And I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but there are usually ways around it. This is something we could.
What about the refund, Donald? You know, you owe the American corporations and American companies that paid the tariffs, because it wasn't the foreign countries, you taxed. It's a tax. That's why the Supreme Court said you don't have the taxing authority. It's the Congress's power. You now have to refund $175 to $200 billion. Are you going to do that? And Trump's like, no, we're going to have to litigate it. We're going to fight it out right now. This is who Trump's been his entire life. Litigious, fraud, bankrupter, felon. Here, play this clip.
Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, since Liberation Day, there's about $175 billion in tariff revenue that is now in limbo. Do you have to refund $175 billion?
Think of it, Peter. Very fair question. They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years. So they write this terrible, defective decision, totally defective. It's almost like not written by smart people. And what they do, they don't even talk about that. Your question is very basic. That was the first question I asked also to make you feel good. I said, what about all the money that we've taken in? Sir, they don't discuss that. How crazy is that?
What you're saying is, are you saying that you don't plan to honor refunds for companies that file for them?
I just told you the answer, right? I told you the answer. It's not discussed. We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years.
More from Donald Trump right here. He says, last week I gave the farmers $12 billion in tariff money. They should be so happy about that. But now the Supreme Court has confirmed that I have the right to tariff. I mean, are we watching the most deranged person? They literally said the opposite, that you don't have the right to tariff. The money to the farmers did not come from tariff money. And the reason you had to bail them out was because the tariffs destroyed them. It shut out international markets and it made the input costs up, and they couldn't afford it. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, you've used the tariff revenue to pay for a host of federal policies. You claim that they will pay for them. What happens?
Well, like the farmers, we took care of farmers. You know, the farmers were mistreated by foreign countries very badly, very, very badly. And last week I gave them $12 billion out of tariff money. We intend to, out of tariff money, because just so you understand, we have tariffs. We just have them in a different way. And now they've been confirmed by the Supreme Court of the United States. So there's no longer that question out there about tariffs.
And then Donald Trump says, but this is so unfair. I can destroy countries. I could be the destroyer, but I can't even tax them $1. That's so unfair. Here, play this clip.
And we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries, certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting. But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what the hell was that. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Oh, for real though, we're so close to 6 million subscribers. Look how close we are. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 6 million subscribers. And thank you everybody for watching.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA union made.